All right, guys. Today we are gonna be reacting to the part 3 of this craziness. Andrew Wilson versus Tomi Lahren. Jump in, guys.
I know this is Piers' show.
Let me go to Tommy. Tommy, I want to play you a clip. This is from a show called Newsnight on the BBC in the UK, where the host Victoria Derbyshire had a panel of young men on and asked them, when was the last time you cried? Let's watch this.
When was the last time you cried?
Honestly, the last time I cried, I couldn't tell you.
Same with Leo, I can't really remember the last time that I cried fully.
A lot of times I feel emotion and I look at myself, why can't I cry? We're told to suppress our emotions.
I feel like to guys, we may be treated a certain way that evokes an idea that we have to be extremely strong and upfront and here as a man, and I'm going to be composed at all times.
Now, I've got a slight issue with this, Tommy, in the sense that one of the most devastating moments for me as a movie watcher was watching James Bond blubbing in the last Bond movie. Right? I don't think to prove you're a modern man, you need to be sobbing all the time. You know, I can't remember the last time I cried. It doesn't make me less of a man or less empathetic to people or anything. I just think again, the pendulum issue of what we want men to be. I think we're now trying to persuade a lot of young men, if you're not emoting all the time, then you're being suppressed in some way. We have over here the British stiff upper lip, which I think gets a really bad rap. I think it's not a bad thing to actually not over-emote. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's...
Oh, sorry, Sean, I'll come to you.
Listen,
That was for Tommy. I'll come to you in a minute, Sean.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
For Tommy.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, Piers. I don't think that men should be trained to be overly emotional and that should be a sign now of new maturity, being emotional. I don't agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with men crying in certain circumstances. Listen, everybody has a different journey. Everybody has a different set of circumstances. There are circumstances wherein men crying I have no issue with. It's also not up to me to tell a man when he can or cannot cry. I personally prefer the men in my life not to be overly emotional, but that's just a personal preference. Really, who am I to tell a man?
Oh my God! Oh, you saw personal preferences, but you female, you can love a guy that just cry. Why not telling the truth? Why is just hard to tell the truth? Females typically do not like over emotional men. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that, guys.
And how he should exhibit his emotions. But again, I think that there is two sides here that are both too extreme. You've got the one hand that wants men to be feminine and cry and show their emotion and be weak. And then you've got the other side that says you cannot cry, you must always be strong, and you should look at women as an object. So again, there's got to be a happy medium here. I think there once was, but now because of, again, I agree, there was an overreaction of the feminist movement to make men weak. I don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
I just wish we could come to a place
She has no stance.
where there was a happy medium, where people could just be human beings who could have a gender role but weren't married to that gender role in absoluteness. There's got to be a place for that. I would certainly hope.
Yeah. Andrew Wilson, when was the last time you cried?
When I had a death in my family.
And how long ago was that? If you don't mind me asking.
They're trying to break him. That question is triggering. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky.
Many years. Many years. I don't know, maybe a decade, something like that.
Right. So you haven't shed a tear in a decade.
I don't think so. No.
Would you see it inherently as a weakness in a man to over-emote?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Men, listen. You don't want men to fall to pieces in crisis. You're the head of a family. You're the head of your household, and also you're the heads of nations. You have a moral obligation not to fall to pieces. In fact, I would say you're duty-bound not to. You need to be able to control your emotions, and you need to be able to attempt to control them at all times. It's not to say that you're not going to lose control. Nobody's perfect. But I think that the idea of the stoic man is a much better prospect for the idea of like this leftist that I'm arguing with next to me on the panel. I would not want to be that guy, that person who just cannot control their internal emotions. They can't do it. And unfortunately, again, this is through the viewpoint of the feminine prism.
Hey, look. Truth, man. It's so hard to find guys that just make a statement, but they can't hold to the statement and really sit on it. Well, that statement. That's Andrew Wilson. Look at this guy in the middle.
That
Man, he's a weird because he liked that shit. That's weird, man.
Again, this is through the
he liked that. He liked. Look at
of
that.
the feminine prism. That it's only through empathy, right? Empathy first, and it's like, no, it's not always about empathy. It's also about reason. It's also about logic. It's also about understanding that we live in a carnal world full of warring tribes who are always killing each other, and that's part of the human condition. You can't afford to have your men losing control to emotion or to empathy.
James, when was the last time you didn't cry on a date? Let's flip the question around.
I haven't cried today, but I did cry yesterday, and I think it's okay to cry. And it's funny that you keep trying to goad me and saying that I don't
there
have
you go. Andrew's right.
Control of my emotions. I think I have incredible control over my emotions because I know what's
There you go.
upsetting me.
There you go, Andrew. Let's
And I'm able
go.
to
Let's
talk
go.
about it.
There you go. We have to change bad behavior. That's what he's doing right now. That's what Andrew Wilson is doing right now. He's shaming bad behavior. I don't care if you're LGBT, whatever, but you're still a man. And there's some ethics and some morals and some values that need to be followed.
Well, how often do you cry?
I mean, not all the time, but
every day?
No, not every day, Piers. I cried
Two or
yesterday.
three times
I
a
probably
week?
haven't cried for about 3 weeks before that. But honestly, my therapist tells me I need to cry, and it's a good relief.
Oh
Big
my
Andrew hasn't
God.
cried in 10 years.
I think that is such a weakness, Andrew, that you haven't cried in a decade. Like, that's crazy to
therapist
me.
told me I could cry.
I'm so worried about you. I can't understand. Well, you're crying now, and please, I happily facilitated that for you.
I think we're seeing the two extremes that Tommy was talking about.
It's honestly, yeah, Tommy, you're so right. There's no nuance. I mean, it's difficult to have nuance on this show anyway, but we do need to find some in this debate.
I think the point is men should not feel they can never emote, but also they shouldn't be encouraged to believe if they're not constantly emoting. There's something wrong with them.
Well, of course, but also
that's where the pendulum's just gone too far.
You are also sort of guilty of this manosphere, Piers. You're very much in the manosphere yourself.
What do you think that means?
Well, it means that you think James Bond shouldn't cry, and that if he does, that's a weakness.
I want
and
James
that's
Bond
not
to
true.
be. I want him to seduce women,
which he
does. I want him
does.
to be a ruthless, steely-eyed dealer of death to bad guys.
But also,
I want James Bond to be, you know, the world's just falling apart. He just give you that look like, still give you like that look of, you know, like I'm on control. This is nuts. There's something about manhood. The world is just crumbling. It's crumbling. There's a lot of chaos, and you can still hold yourself together. There's something so powerful about that, you guys. It's so rare. It's so difficult to explain it. There's something so important about a man just keeping himself together through the time of uncertainty. There was something when Trump got shot, and he just said fight, and the next day he just appeared. There was something so powerful about that. That's why when he won, the Democrats just fall apart. They fell apart because he broke them down. They got broke down spiritually, and he kept moving forward, and he keeps moving forward. Yeah, there's something about a man just holding himself together, even not only in certainty but happiness as well. When you're winning, you showing some kind of decency in your behavior, and knowing that you just work your ass off just to get there, and just be, you know, normal about your emotions. There's something so important about controlling your emotions, so powerful. I don't know how to explain it, guys.
To have a cigarette with his whiskey or his shaken not stirred martini.
Maybe Andrew is your type.
And I don't want him sobbing like a baby all the
just
time.
want to say,
don't.
like Tommy might not.
Because guess what? When you're in Her Majesty's Secret Service, you don't have time to cry all the time.
Very sad news about Her Majesty, Piers. Sadly, she did pass away, and I'm sure you cried at that, which is completely
His
within your
Majesty
right.
now, obviously. But
Tommy,
actually,
probably,
the last Bond film was under Her Majesty, so I was correct.
Fine. Great fact checking. Tommy would obviously like to go out with a man like you then, because you don't think it's okay for a man to cry.
Well, she has excellent taste.
But there are
That's
other
true,
women who do like a man that cries. Like, we're not all the same. We don't all require the same type of man. So it's fine if we all want to be different types of men, but there shouldn't be one rule for all men. And that's the problem.
All right, let me bring Sean back in and bring it back to adolescence, because this series has blown up worldwide. It's got incredible numbers of people watching, talking about it, debating. A lot of parents thinking, what should they do if they have a young teenage boy? You know, and I saw it, as I say, with my 3 sons, the Jonathan Haidt book about cell phones, you know, from 2010, when phones became smartphones, basically young people's brains started scrambling, and they've carried on scrambling ever since. That doesn't help.
Because the information they're getting is not stimulating the IQ. So they're getting the information that they're getting, right, is very emotional driven. So their mental acuity is not being stimulated.
A lot of the issues that young men face are driven by stuff they see on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I mean, you know, for this specific instance, my wife and I were waiting to give our children phones until at least 8th grade, right? At least 8th grade.
This dude right here is the problem of the conservative movement. You're gonna give your kids a phone at 8th grade, really? My kids are not getting a phone until high school, and I'm gonna be the one giving them money when they work, right? When they're working at home, stuff like that, and then they have to pay their bills, and that phone is gonna be locked. There's gonna be parent control in it. I'm not playing that game. Yeah, you guys are good. This guy right here is introducing their kids to the world too young. Too young, guys. It's killing their innocence too young. 8th grade is. They should be focusing on the most important thing, which is studying, education, business mindset, telling them about taxes, work. You know, being sport. You introducing a phone is a huge distraction to them.
We want to monitor what they're seeing and what they're being filled with, right? Because again, they're subject to search engines. They hear things at school, then they go home, they search it on their phone, they search it in their room, and now they're wide open to this world that they don't need to be a part of because their brains haven't fully formed yet. They're still little. My son's almost 12, right? I got to be very careful of what he puts in his mind.
Yeah.
And social media, for the things that we are doing as adults, yeah, it's pouring into our household and we're doing well with it. But for an adolescent, like these young kids, I'm seeing kids at dinners when we're at restaurant surfing TikTok while their parents are not even paying attention to what they're doing.
Yeah,
Like,
where I live in Wisconsin, you see that shit a lot, man. I'm sorry, that stuff a lot. You see that a lot. You see that a lot, and it's weird because my family, most of the time, we are the only one that we don't have a phone. Most of the time, we are the only one without a phone on the table. My wife doesn't have a phone. I don't have a phone. Nobody, not even my kids, know about an iPod. My oldest is 4 years old. She's going to be 5 this year. And they know nothing about iPhones. She knows that Papa has one, but only Papa can use it. And when I use it, it's only for business.
That right there is a massive problem.
Then my kids don't touch it.
If we don't, as a society, get a hold of that, then this will never end. There will be more series like Adolescence that hit even harder because we're witnessing it in our own lives.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, you seem to be in agreement with some of that.
Yeah, it's poison. There's no doubt. It re-scrambles children's brains. And it's very difficult to monitor. Even if you have parental controls, they can find ways around it.
Yep.
At school, they have peers who will assist them in getting around it. You have to monitor it really well.
Yeah, that's why at 8th grade, you don't give a phone. You know, you meet very smart people in school. Right now, it's a great point. It's conservatives were smart. Right now, it's a great way to do a takeaway. You know how much control we have, how much power. Do a takeaway. Put your kids to a very homeschool program, co-op, but take away your next generation. Take it away, guys, and that way you can teach them from ground zero, and then build them up. But these conservatives, they still want to change the world by participating with the rules of the world. Like you can't do that. You cannot be a Christian and at the same time go drink get drunk on Saturdays. You can't do that, man. I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I'm just making a metaphor here. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a phone when he's 8th grade, but then we're gonna monitor, bro. You gave him a phone 8th grade. There's something called WhatsApp. Oh, like Andrew said, some kids are gonna figure out how to get rid of some of the parental control. You're done. Your kids are cooked.
The smartphone technology for my own kids, it was kind of new. I wish that I, in retrospect, had done more guarding against that myself. You don't know the dangers of that technology
it's dangerous
until children get a hold of it, and then you're left scrambling going, oh man, I wish I had known that this was going on or that was going on, but you have no idea. Now, though, we have a little bit of retrospect, and we know that it's an appropriate thing to do to guide against this type of technology because, yeah, he's absolutely right. It does create all sorts of problems for kids. I'm not sure that gets to the heart of the masculinity and feminine issue, but I totally agree with him that we should be safeguarding our children against this technology. It does seem to be very bad for them.
And James, there is pretty well unfettered pornography.
Yeah, that's another topic. Hopefully they get it a little bit more into the inside baseball regarding the porn industry. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This back and forward. Tomi Lahren, of course, right now she's not getting a lot of attention. That's good, since she already got shut down. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next one.